Welcome to Space Nexus. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Tonight, the United States Supreme Court has declined to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal, cementing her conviction for aiding Jeffrey Epstein in the sexual abuse of teenage girls. The justices gave no explanation, a standard practice, but the result is clear. Maxwell's 20-year prison sentence stands. For her victims, this decision may bring a sense of closure, ensuring at least one key figure remains accountable. Maxwell's case has always been about more than her guilt. It's a story of wealth, power, and the dark secrets of elite society. The Supreme Court's move doesn't answer the lingering questions about Epstein's network, but it has closed a major legal avenue for Maxwell. Her legal team had pinned their hopes on a controversial 2007 non-prosecution agreement, but that hope is now gone. The decision affirms the authority of New York prosecutors and signals that deals made elsewhere won't shield accomplices from justice. For the public, it's a rare moment where the justice system's verdict has stuck, even against the powerful. Maxwell's lawyer, David Oscar Marcini, expressed disappointment but vowed to keep fighting, though future options are limited and narrow. The Supreme Court's denial is a major blow, marking the end of the main appellate road. Any further challenges will be procedural at best. For now, the verdict from December 2021 holds Maxwell, once a fixture in elite circles, remains a convicted sex trafficker in federal prison. The shadows of Epstein's network still loom, and the demand for answers remains. Today's legal finality for Maxwell only sharpens the focus on the unanswered questions that persist. The story is not over, but this chapter is closed. To grasp the weight of today's decision, we must revisit the disturbing partnership at the heart of this case. Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of a disgraced British tycoon, became Jeffrey Epstein's closest accomplice. Together, they used privilege and connections to run a sophisticated sex trafficking operation, luring and abusing vulnerable teenagers. Maxwell was the chief recruiter and groomer, as proven by her 2021 conviction on 5 counts, including sex trafficking of a minor. She befriended girls, gained their trust, and delivered them to Epstein, sometimes participating in the abuse herself. Epstein's 2019 arrest promised to expose his network, but his death in jail left Maxwell as the central figure. Her 2020 Intweinstein Ointeinstweit Tinkoni Doin Intoi Tinkare arrest and subsequent conviction became a proxy for the trial Epstein never faced. For victims, Maxwell's guilty verdict was a powerful, if incomplete, form of justice. Today's Supreme Court decision ensures that this measure of accountability stands. The secrets of Epstein's network remain, but at least one architect is behind bars. The fight for the full truth continues. At the core of Maxwell's appeal was a controversial 2007 non-prosecution agreement between Florida prosecutors and Epstein. Epstein avoided federal charges, serving just 13 months in jail, in exchange for a plea to state charges. The deal included a clause meant to protect potential co-conspirators, the foundation of Maxwell's legal argument. Her lawyers claimed this clause granted her blanket immunity from future federal prosecution related to Epstein's crimes. The argument: a deal in one district should bind all federal prosecutors nationwide. The NPA was widely condemned, especially since victims weren't informed, a violation of their rights. Its architect, Alexander Acosta, later resigned as U.S. Labor Secretary amid renewed outrage. For Maxwell's team, the NPA was their best hope, arguing the government must honor its word. They took this argument from trial court to the Supreme Court, testing the reach of a single, unusual plea deal. Ultimately, the courts rejected the idea that the NPA protected Maxwell. The agreement remains a symbol of a justice system that sometimes favors the powerful, but for Maxwell, it offered no escape. Maxwell's legal battle centered on whether a non-prosecution agreement in Florida could block prosecution in New York. Her lawyers argued the 2007 NPA was a promise from the entire Department of Justice, binding all districts. Lower courts disagreed, ruling the NPA didn't explicitly cover Maxwell or extend beyond Florida. The Second Circuit upheld this, stating such deals must be clear and specific to bind other jurisdictions. Maxwell's team framed the issue as one of government integrity, but the court saw no broad legal principle at stake. The Supreme Court's refusal to hear the case suggests they saw no pressing legal conflict. By letting the lower ruling stand, the court affirmed that the Florida NPA was a localized deal. Its power did not reach New York. The message deals protecting the powerful in one place won't shield them everywhere. Maxwell's legal gambit failed. The Justice Department's opposition was straightforward. Maxwell was never a party to the 2007 NPA. The deal was between Florida prosecutors and Epstein. Maxwell wasn't named, didn't sign, and offered nothing in return. The clause about co-conspirators was ambiguous and, at best, applied only to Florida. The government argued that plea agreements in one district don't bind others unless explicitly stated. The Solicitor General's office told the Supreme Court there was no real legal controversy, just an attempt to relitigate a lost case. The court's denial shows the justices agreed. Maxwell's argument was a stretch, not a profound legal question. The government's stance was decisive. When the Supreme Court declines a case, it offers no reason, a standard but often frustrating practice. This isn't a ruling on the merits, just a decision not to review. Legal experts say the justices likely saw no unresolved legal question or circuit split. The Second Circuit's ruling was clear plea deals in one district don't bind another without explicit language. The court may have also wanted to avoid wading into the controversy of the flawed 2007 NPA. Declining the case lets prosecutors retain independence across districts. For Maxwell, the denial means her conviction is final. For the public, it's a sign that even notorious cases can reach a legal endpoint. The Supreme Court's silence speaks volumes. The Supreme Court's decision brings legal closure for Maxwell, but public distrust in the Epstein saga remains. The 2007 plea deal and Epstein's death fueled suspicions of a two-tiered justice system. Polls show most Americans believe the government is hiding details about Epstein's powerful clients. Every new development is met with skepticism, including Maxwell's transfer to a lower security prison. The demand for transparency has driven congressional and media investigations, with lawmakers releasing thousands of case records. Yet, no definitive client list has emerged, and the public remains unsatisfied. Today's decision affirms that the powerful can be prosecuted, but it also risks closing the door on further revelations. The focus now shifts to Congress and the FBI to provide answers. The quest for the full truth about Epstein's network is far from over. Public trust hangs in the balance. The Epstein-Maxwell scandal has always been political, ensnaring figures from presidents to royalty. Each side uses the case to attack the other, complicating the search for truth. Recent document releases have only fueled partisan battles, with allegations amplified or dismissed along party lines. During congressional testimony, the FBI stated no credible evidence of a client list, deepening suspicions for some and ending speculation for others. The case shows that while the powerful can be held accountable, prosecuting such networks is fraught with obstacles. Maxwell's conviction is a blueprint and a warning for future high-profile abuse cases. The focus on famous names often overshadows the real victims. Justice should center on those harmed, not just political point scoring. The full story of who enabled Epstein remains untold. Even with Maxwell in prison, the search for truth continues. With the Supreme Court's denial, Maxwell will serve her 20-year sentence, with few legal options left. Her lawyer may pursue a habeas corpus petition, but success is unlikely. For survivors, this decision offers closure and a chance to move forward. Yet, justice is about more than one conviction. Advocates continue to push for stronger protections and further investigations. The public's belief that others were involved will keep pressure on the DOJ and FBI. Tens of thousands of documents will be scrutinized for new leads. The central mystery, who else participated or enabled Epstein's crimes, remains unsolved. Maxwell's case closes one chapter, but the broader quest for truth and accountability continues. This saga has exposed deep flaws in the justice system and forced a reckoning with power and privilege. The fight for justice is ongoing, and the search for answers is far from over.